Where, because you've seen a lot of people too, you've been very lucky also. Where does that concert, that certainly stands, I would not be surprised, among some of the best you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's probably the only female I've ever gone to see.
Really?
I think so.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Because, like, I know we love Bonnie Raitt, and I've been to see her several times now.
No, I haven't seen her.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah. And she's...
But most of mine were not... I think she's the only female.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, because, like, my wife is a singer, and she's a very good singer, and I always wanted to be a singer, but couldn't carry a tune in the bucket. I never went any further than the PTA program when I sang "Heard It Through the Grapevine." You were there that day.
Yeah.
And I got a standing ovation. I don't know if it was because I did good or they were just happy I was done, but you know, I'll never forget that day either. But that was as far as I ever got with that. But my wife is an excellent singer, and you know, of course, just idolizes Tina Turner. And she said, you know, my wife has a very beautiful alto voice, just very naturally beautiful. Mm-hmm. But she wants to be able to sing, you know, with the grit, with the rock that Tina Turner has. And she asked me, she said, do you know of any female singers that Tina sang, that Tina looked up to? And I said, no, I really don't, because she was really the first one. The one she looked up to were the guys, you know, David Bowie and Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. And, you know, there really wasn't, because she goes all the way back to the 50s, and there really wasn't any women at that time that were.
No. It didn't happen back then.
Yeah. And that's why I think she is undisputably the queen of rock and roll, because there were no, she goes back before the Beatles, before the Stones, and you know, there's this, and I'm sure you've heard of it, there's this, she says that she taught Mick Jagger how to dance, because that strut that he does,
I would believe that.
Yeah, because her and Ike were on tour with him in England. Mick asked them to come as their opening act, and she said he had no rhythm at all. He could not dance, but when he picked up from watching Tina do her opening act, and that strut that they do, he taught it. She taught it to him, and I think that they all, men, women, everybody, they all need to bow to Tina. And I'll never forget, because you told me, you know, you had been to concerts before. I had never been to anything before, and they had these metal steps, and you said, now look right there. You see them steps? She's gonna come down them steps, and they lowered her in on a cherry picker, as I recall, or one of those lifts.
Right.
They lowered her in on one of those things, and she stepped down at the base of those steps in those high heels and that silver sequins dress, and came down them steps. Just took her time coming down them steps, and I will never forget that. That at that moment, I may have been coming out of my chair during the show, but at that moment, I was completely froze, just watching her come down them steps.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And never experienced anything like that since.
Well, I'm glad I was there with you.
Oh, you know, we're forever bonded because of that. And shout out to your son Daniel. He enjoyed the show too. I was.
Oh
Yeah. Now, and the only thing, the only one that I love as much as Tina Turner, my favorite male singer, is Phil Collins. And my daughter, her favorite band is Genesis. She's properly brainwashed. So we got to share that experience last November. And the only reason that I would say that was more special is because my wife and my daughter were there. Especially my little one who cried when I surprised her with tickets, you know.
Aww.
But you know, as far as energy and the show production, nothing. You know, there's a reason why I like the old guys. Nobody can do it like those people, and you got to go see them while they're here, because once they're gone.
I know, that's the best music.
You know, you don't have that kind of showmanship. And I mean, you know, it cost us, because I look back at it, the base price of our ticket to see Tina Turner was $22.75. That's only $43 in today's money. And when I went to see Genesis, poor old Phil can't do anything but sit there and sing, but that's good enough for me. It cost me $250 a piece. And you know, to see a show like we saw in 1997, that it'd be at least $300 to sit where we were sitting.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were very fortunate to get where we got to see what we saw for that price. But I mean, really.
I couldn't afford to go to a concert now.
I know. Is there anybody that you haven't seen that you'd like to see?
Oh gosh, Bob Seger.
You never saw Bob Seger?
No.
Oh, I knew you were such a Bob fan because Mom's seen him a ton of times, and she loves him. And I remember you said Tina Turner loved Bob Seger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she gave him Nutbush City Limits. He would do that on his live shows. And but they were both, you know, I've never seen Bob either, but I know that he's a favorite, and I will never, because that's my mama's, him and the Eagles are absolutely my mama's favorite. And I, you know, after my mama leaves this world, I'll probably never be able to listen to Bob Seger again. But yeah, Bob would be a great one. I'd love to see Bob.
I think so.
And I hear, you know, that he's one of those that the older he gets, the better he gets, and that's, you know, that's you. I mean, you have to. And I'm really glad. I'm thankful that she likes new stuff too. She likes to listen to whatever her friends are listening to, and that's great. But you don't have those people that are going to be around for 30, 40, 50 years. You know, when Bella has her grandchildren, she's going to be able to tell her grandchildren, I saw two Beatles. I saw Genesis, you know, they're going to know who they are. But whoever is big now is big for like 15 minutes. But for one thing, you don't have to have talent. You can be a sensation for 30 seconds on YouTube and become a star overnight.
Yeah.
Isn't that how this Justin Bieber fella or what? Isn't that how they found him on YouTube, right? I mean, I don't follow the new music, but I mean, it's just the talent that you had to have and the ability to perform that you had to have. You don't have to have that now, and it's a shame, really.
It's a lost art, I think.
Yeah. To see.
You know, we would go on field trips when I was teaching. We would go on field trips, and you know, they'd be playing the music, and a lot of it was Eagles.
Right.
And they could sing the song, you know, the words to it. And that kind of surprised me, but you know, the parents, I guess, played that all the time, and
I mean,
it was funny.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear when I hear young people being into these rock groups or the Beatles or the Stones or whoever, and I'm so glad to hear that, because it's like you don't have that kind of music, you know. The generation when I was growing up was, you know, Tina and Phil and Whitney Houston, and you know, that a voice like Whitney Houston had, bless her heart, poor old Whitney couldn't even do Whitney eventually, because she didn't take care of her voice. And look at what Tina Turner went through, and she just kept getting better and better and better. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty sad. I don't know if you know much about the end of her life, but she outlived both children that she gave birth to. And I think that had to be, you know, after all she'd been through, and she lost both of her kids. And it was like she found that Irvin Bach, who was her partner for as long as I've been alive, and then she finally married him. I'm glad that she found true love finally. But to lose both of her kids, that had to be like, you know, once that happened, that had to be like, well, my kids are gone. I'm just ready to go ahead and check out of here. You know, that had to just kind of put a lid on it.
I can imagine. Yeah. You know, my sister's son committed suicide.
Yeah.
This was in 2005, and she'll never get over that.
No. I mean, you don't. And that did happen to one of her children. One of them committed suicide. The other one had cancer. But I mean, with the things that she went through, we can't imagine what those kids saw, the trauma that those kids saw, and to lose a child in that way. You know, you're in the same boat as I am. We got one child, and you know, you've been fortunate enough to live to see him grow up, and I just ask God every day, you know, you don't know what's going to happen, but I'm like, whatever happens, God, please keep me out of an institution. Let me be a parent, not just a father to my child, at least until she grows up. And that's all I could ask. You know, my wife has had various health problems, you know, but you know, we're still here and we've made it, and she is the joy of our life, and what she is what sustains us, and she is why we can keep on doing what we're doing. And to lose one in that way, it's just it's unfathomable. And I would assume you were talking about Pam. I know your sister Pam, very sweet lady, always very kind to me when I see her. And I don't know how that. I don't know how you survive it yourself. So the fact that she can get up and get herself dressed, is enough that is worthy of being admired. Because I just, if anything happened to Bella, you'd have to take me to the dump. And I know you feel the same way about Daniel.
I can imagine. Yeah. I can't even let my mind go there.
Yeah, because you can't even think about it, because it will grip you, and it makes you afraid of the future, and you just have to focus on, okay, she's here. It's you know, she's here and you're here with her, so embrace that and enjoy every moment, and that is kind of a lesson that Tina Turner taught with her life, I think, is to embrace the moment and squeeze the good out of whatever you have, because if anybody did that, she most certainly did.
That's right.
I'll say from here that you went on to, after you left me in the 8th grade, you went on to a teaching career. You taught in Carroll and Grayson counties for probably 20 years. Are you still doing homebound, or are you happily retired now?
I'm still doing homebound. I'll probably do that as long as I'm able. I like it because it's one-on-one, and I feel like I can do more, with the students. Some can't, but
yeah.
And it gets me out of the house, and I'm still doing what I like. I like to teach. So.
Yeah. Did you always want to teach?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had known what it was like, I would have run.
Right. If you'd learned about it earlier.
Oh no, it was awful. It was.
Yeah.
I don't know how I made it without killing somebody. Kids don't have the attention to concentrate on everything they learn. And kids these days, like I had to start teaching multiplication in 2nd grade.
Right.
2, 5, and 10.
Right.
And in 2nd grade, yeah.
Yeah.
I know I wasn't doing multiplying in 2nd grade, but these days you can't teach. You have a script that you have to go by.
Mm-hmm.
In the teacher's editions, there's a script. You're supposed to say this is what we're doing and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I had ideas of my own, I couldn't do them because it didn't follow the script.
Or trying to connect with the child that doesn't learn the same way this child does.
No. And those are the kids, you got to try everything with them.
Yeah.
Until they, till it catches. But in that math, I would show them the different ways to come up with the answer. And whatever worked for them, if they needed to count on their fingers, whatever they needed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because their little minds weren't ready for all those different ways to come up with a problem. I mean, some of the ways took a whole sheet of paper just to add 2 numbers together,
Sure.
I could do it in my head.
Right. Right. I can too.
Well, what happened? What happened to kids? I remember practicing my times tables because I didn't want to be called up front and not know
right.
the answers, and I still remember that.
Yep.
I don't know. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But do you find with your homebound students that you connect individually with the students, same as you did when you were an aide? Because I know you connected with all of us in a very special way. Not.
Yeah, I usually can find out where a kid's head is at.
Mm-hmm.
And go from there.
Yeah. Because
everybody's so different. They might have emotional problems or medical problems, behavior problems. I never know what I'm getting till I'm in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to meet them at their level.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that helped any of my kids was telling them that they could do. You know, I remember telling this poor boy one time that he was smart.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me like I was lying to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it took me a long time to get him to see he could do.
Right.
I don't know if he'd been told he was stupid or whatever at home.
Yeah.
And he carried that into school with
Oh,
me.
sure. Because how can you not?
Yeah.
If the people...
When he looked at me back, it about broke my heart.
Right. Yeah.
This is really, you know, you didn't know what they were home to.
Yeah. He really was smart. And if you're told by the people who love you the most and that's supposed to know you better than anybody else that you're not, they just go, oh, okay, well, you know me better than anybody else, so if I'm not, I guess I'm not. And that's what they accept as truth, and it's not so. So, but anyway, thank you so much for taking this time with me. It's been wonderful to catch up with you. It's wonderful to talk about Tina and our special memories and our special bond. And thank you for all that you've done for me and the friend that you've been to me.
You did a lot for me too.
Well, I'm very glad that we have the bond we have.
Me too, honey.
And thank you so much for this time. I have enjoyed it. And thank you for this. I hope you've enjoyed it half as much as I have.
Oh, I have.
Well, I love you always.
I love you too, baby.